Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books, and I've been following Disney very carefully these last few months. I can tell you there's a lot of problems over at Disney, and there is a bit of a panic going on. Now, yesterday we were just talking about the panic Disney has over Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny because their trailer is massively underperforming other major film projects. It's looking already like there's no real interest in this movie, and it's most likely going to be a bomb. Now, Avatar 2 is doing well. You can't say Avatar 2 is a bomb. It's absolutely not true. Avatar 2 is doing big business. Avatar 2 might do as much as Avatar 1, especially over time. That could mean a clear billion-dollar profit for Disney, maybe even a little bit more than $1 billion. That would be fantastic. But how is that going to stack up against losing $123 billion in 1 year of the value of their stock? While they were pushing all their woke stuff, and really 2022 is when the woke stuff went off the charts with Disney. Everything woke. They deny that it's woke. They just keep pushing the progressive agenda stuff, and their stock just kept going further and further down. This article comes from FISM TV. Let's check it out. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. The Walt Disney Company paid a heavy price for their foray into woke politics as they lost $123 billion of their market value as their stock dropped over 44% from the beginning to the end of 2022. If you're not familiar with stocks, and you don't have to be any kind of expert, 44% is a massive amount of drop for a stock. A lot of people buy stocks on margin, so you can buy a stock and put down, say, 50% of the value of the stock. If your stock goes below 50%, it's sold immediately, usually by your stockbroker, which means you would have nothing left. 44.5%. That would be if you put $100,000 into it, your stock would only be worth around $56,000. That's devastating. The company opened the year at $156.76 per share after a year of battling Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, pushing woke content in their blockbuster movies and replacing their controversial CEO with its predecessor. That would have been Bob Chapek, now replaced with Bob Iger. Disney closed the year at $86.88. Now, just to put it in perspective, today it's January 4th. Their stock is up a little bit. Their stock is at $91.98. That's a little bit. It's not enough to make up for this kind of a loss. They need their stock back at like that $156 level. How is that going to happen? The year marked the worst annual decline in nearly 50 years for Disney. According to Dow Jones market data, Disney stock fell by 54% in 1974. It absolutely could happen again. While Disney's problems this year stem from lower than anticipated profits for their streaming service Disney Plus, because they had really substantial losses in Disney Plus. They lost $4 billion in Disney Plus for 2022. And when you start something new, of course you're going to lose some money. Not this much money. And in addition to that, I've done another video talking about how I think their losses are much higher than they're actually reporting. I think there's some funny accounting going on there. I'll link to that video if you want to check it out. As well as lower box office receipts, the company's shameless promotion of LGBTQ content certainly played a part. If the market report is any indication, pushing gay representation and other woke politics was a very seriously bad move for their bottom line. As a recap, Disney made headlines early in 2022 for picking a fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over the state's parental rights bill. After receiving criticism for taking a neutral position on the legislation, then CEO Bob Chapek reversed course in early March with a public apology to the LGBTQ community. What followed was a back-and-forth feud with the Florida legislature that effectively marks the start of the slide in their stock. On March 1st, 2022, Disney shares were at $145.70. By May 4th, and that's not a big difference in time, that's like 2 months, the company had lost nearly $63 billion of its market value, with an over $30 per share decline recorded in the annual market summary. In the time in between, they reported on the not at all secret gay agenda openly admitted to by top Disney executives, which, by the way, was weird. It was quite weird. Let me know in the comments below if you think that was odd. Chapek also announced that a same-sex kiss would be featured in one of their expected 2022 blockbusters, Lightyear, which originally we had heard was removed from the film but because of the battle with Florida, they decided to put it back in. The battle with Florida is devastating for Disney. Chapek decided he would go and he'd be Mr. Tough Guy CEO and say that they're going to fight to get this law repealed, and they didn't care what Florida citizens voted for. And, that level of government interference is really a bit too much. So DeSantis worked with the Florida legislature and pushed through a repeal of their special rights that Disney had for the Reedy Creek District, which basically means this. Disney in the 1960s negotiated this amazing deal for themselves where essentially they would have their own county government controlling taxes, construction permission, all kinds of things that a county would approve where they operated their theme parks in Florida. So it was an incredible deal for Disney and a good deal for Florida too, because it brought in a lot of business. It brought in a lot of development. But at the same time, to go and fight with Florida over a bill that was already passed into law made no sense. There was no way that Chapek was going to win. He wasn't going to impress anybody with the virtual signaling. They always want more. Whenever he gives in to his executives, they always wanted more from him. He could never please them. And now they've lost this county government effective July 2023. But the big problem with this is this means everything is up in the air in terms of what they can do with their theme parks. They can't pave the roads there, much less build new attractions. They don't know what the tax implications are going to be. It's a complete disaster. And Bob Iger is a very smooth-talking guy. He can't fix this. This is way beyond Bob Iger's ability to make a deal for it, because now there's presidential politics that are tied into all this. They're not going to get any good deal back in place with the state of Florida, not anytime soon, not before July 23. I could be wrong. We'll have to keep an eye on it. This is worth billions of dollars of damage to Disney's overall value. I don't know how many billions. I don't know if it's 3. I don't know if it's 15, but it's not insignificant. In the case there was any doubt, after 14 countries announced the ban on the Pixar movie, Lightyear, because of the gay kiss, Lightyear was a June box office flop. While Disney executives anticipated the film would net at least $70 million in its opening weekend, it only brought in $50.6 million. In November, and keep in mind, Toy Story is one of the biggest franchises that Disney ever got their hands on when they acquired Pixar. They've ruined it, just like Star Wars. I mean, it just goes on and on and on with Disney. In November, Chapek's departure as CEO was unexpectedly announced amid layoffs. His predecessor, the 71-year-old Bob Iger, announced he would serve again as the company's chief for another 2 years. At that time, the company's stock value was $97.58. Prices continued to decline even as Disney released 2 more anticipated blockbusters at the end of the year. Their animated film, with an openly gay teenager called Strange World, also failed expectations. It brought in a meager ticket sales of $18.6 million during its opening weekend, when Disney executives anticipated at least $30 million in sales. That was over Thanksgiving weekend, which is a big movie-going weekend. You see how much business Avatar 2 did over holiday weekends. Christmas, New Year's. That film made money. That was successful. Strange World was a complete and total bomb. It will cost Disney something between $100 and $174 million, depending on how they decide to do the accounting. That's another weird flexibility that Disney has. But it's absolutely losing a ton of money. Netflix also suffered this year after receiving similar criticism about way too much emphasis on LGBTQ progressive agenda stuff. Doesn't look like pushing the woke stuff is good for business, but what's a bit scary is it doesn't seem like the major companies really care. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do these companies care about money? That was the scariest thing for me around the time of 2008, when they had the big financial crisis. After they lowered interest rates so low that people didn't seem to care about money anymore, money just lost its value in a strange way because you really weren't getting interest on money anymore. It's gotten really, really weird ever since 2008 for me. I don't know what you think. I'd love to see what you think in the comments below. It's as if money is not important. It's like the only thing that matters is control and agendas. And I don't know what that means for the future of the country or the future of entertainment, but I would say you may want to support companies like Universal, Paramount, that seem just focused on making good content, good stories. You got to watch more Minions. The Minions was great. The Rise of Gru was one of my favorite movies. Maverick was a great movie. Watch Avatar 2 if you want to, but a lot of us are not supporting anything Disney because of their strange political beliefs. Okay, so let me know what you think of this, though, in the comments below. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.